likely to have a lasting impact on the U.S. economy. Part of the reason is the previous 20 shutdowns have been short, lasting about a week or less. They are a headache for the Federal Reserve, especially now as policymakers seek clarity on the employment picture and inflation. Those policymakers won't get the monthly jobs report and other data until the government reopens. They will have to rely on private surveys. Sometimes those are viewed as a poor proxy for the government data. The Fed cut interest rates last month for the first time since December on growing concern about the job market. Financial markets see a near certainty of another rate cut at the central bank's next meeting this month. Though Bonrion Capital Management founder and CEO Shana Orzik-Sizzle says the shutdown could impact this.
I do think the lack of economic data of some of the larger economic data points that the Fed pays attention to could delay the Fed from cutting further.
Meanwhile, even though hundreds of thousands of federal workers are on furlough and a range of important government services are suspended, shutdowns themselves don't typically move the needle for the economy. It depends on what's happening around the shutdown. Stocks took a hit during the last shutdown in 2018, but rebounded quickly, according to Robert Conzo, CEO and managing director of the Wealth Alliance.
Last one was during the Trump era, was 35 days from December of 18 to January of 19. The market dropped, and it started a week before the actual shutdown, so there was a lot of anticipation. Dropped around 15%, then quickly came back and rose past that. Typically, there's headline risk, markets drop, but then they typically come back.
Jane Goodall, the scientist and global activist who spent her life advocating for the environment, has died at 91 years old. That's according to the institute she founded, who said Wednesday she died of natural causes. Goodall was a pioneer, both as a female scientist in the 1960s, as well as for her work studying primates. She blazed a path to follow for a number of women, including the late Dian Fossey. She worked to bring the chimps she loved into the lives of the public, partnering with National Geographic for films, TV, and magazines. By giving chimpanzees names instead of numbers, focusing on their relationships and emotions, and finding that they use tools, she upended scientific norms of the time. She said in a 2002 TED Talk that there isn't a sharp line dividing humans from the rest of the animal kingdom. As Goodall's career evolved, she shifted her focus from primates to climate advocacy after seeing widespread habitat devastation, urging the world to take quick and urgent action.
I'm so well aware of these problems and always trying to think of ways in which we can somehow live in a more sustainable way. And one thing we can do is reduce unsustainable lifestyles. We can start thinking about what we need, not only what we want. We can start thinking about waste. We can start thinking about different ways of farming, like permaculture.
In 2003, she was appointed a Dame of the British Empire, and in 2025, she received the U.S. Presidential Medal of Freedom.
New Directions Community Credit Union is now open in Titusville. They may be new to our community, but they've been serving our region since 1974, providing their members with affordable products and services. Membership is open to anyone who lives, works, worships, volunteers, attends school, regularly conducts business, or who owns a business in Venango, Forest, Warren, or Crawford counties. Visit their new location at 206 South Martin Street in Titusville to learn more about becoming a member. Best of luck to all the students and athletes this fall from New Directions Community Credit Union.
Looking for expert orthopedic care? Dr. Charlie Gates, a trusted name at Titusville Area Hospital, can help you regain mobility and a better quality of life. With years of experience and a passion for personalized care, Dr. Gates specializes in treating a wide range of orthopedic conditions. Whether it's joint pain, sports injuries, or orthopedic surgery, trust Dr. Charlie Gates at Titusville Area Hospital for your orthopedic care. Call 814-827-9770 today to schedule your appointment.
Vanderhoof Heating and Air Conditioning provides residential and light commercial air conditioning services throughout the area. They understand the importance of your cooling system working properly. That is why you can trust in Vanderhoof to do the job right. Whether it's a non-working air conditioner, yearly maintenance, or a new install, you can be assured that we will solve your problem quickly and efficiently. Your home's air conditioning system is far more than just temperature. It's a complete comfort system that combines temperature, humidity, air quality, and above all, safety. Vanderhoof Heating and Air Conditioning in Titusville. Titusville Market Square is home to over 100 unique vendors featuring antiques, collectibles, candles, coins, baked goods, dairy products, food items, comic books, toys, and so much more. You'll discover something new every time you walk through the door. Did we mention the selection of baked goods, breads, Clark's Donuts, and Amish pies? Titusville Market Square has you covered. Stop in to explore today. Titusville Market Square in downtown Titusville.
Our new home.
Somebody pinch me.
Somebody say pinch?
Pinch.
We mean we just bought this.
Yeah, we just bought a new house. Why are there crabs?
Don't call for pinches. Call for protection.
Hit it.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Your State Farm agent is ready to help you choose the right coverage for your new house and your car.
All right, which way to the sea?
We're in Ohio.
So is that close or?
No.
You got a pool?
No.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
I'm Ronnie Long.
And I'm Lisa Mellon.
The name Armstrong reflects more than just a company. It's a promise.
While others focus on the short term, we're building for a future that's limitless.
From the dawn of cable television to the rise of the digital age, we've delivered cutting-edge technology like our advanced fiber network that redefines what's possible.
Guided by our core values, we have proudly served and strengthened communities like yours for generations.
Fat Chad's is Titusville's premier dining destination. Come hungry and enjoy these menu favorites: T-bone steak, homemade meatloaf dinner, or soft shell crab tacos. Dive into fresh pasta entrees like shrimp and scallop pasta, or our signature Asiago chicken. And don't miss our famous burgers and fish sandwiches, all served with fresh cut fries. Fridays mean prime rib specials. Enjoy wild game Saturdays. And on Sundays, it's our all-you-can-eat wing buffet. For good food and good times, it's Fat Chad's Brewing in Titusville.
211 is an easy-to-remember telephone number for finding health and human services for everyday needs and in crisis situations. Every day, highly trained 211 call specialists provide referrals to basic human needs resources like food banks and shelters, physical and mental health, employment support, support for youth and child care programs, and support for adults and persons with disabilities. To learn more, dial 211 or visit pa211nw.org.
Wall Street's main stock indexes rose on Wednesday, with the Dow eking out a marginal gain, the S&P 500 adding about 1/3%, and the Nasdaq climbing more than 0.4%. Investors largely shrugged off the first day of a U.S. government shutdown, which could delay the release of Friday's key non-farm payrolls report if Democrats and Republicans don't reach a deal on a funding bill by then. Shayna Orzik-Sizzle is founder and CEO of Bonrian Capital Management.
I do think the lack of economic data of some of the larger economic data points that the Fed pays attention to could delay the Fed from cutting further, but we did get soft ADP numbers today, and that gives a little bit of direction, and it supports the Fed's belief that the labor markets are softening. We know that inflation is ticking higher, but the PCE, which is the indicator that the Fed pays attention to, wouldn't report till later in this month, so it's not necessarily impacted right this very second. I don't know that it impacts much right now.
Healthcare stocks rallied for a second straight day after Pfizer cut a deal with President Trump that grants the drug company tariff relief in exchange for lower prices on certain prescription drugs. Pfizer gained more than 6.5%. Thermo Fisher added nearly 9.5%. Other notable stock moves included AES, which rallied more than 16.5% after the Financial Times reported that BlackRock-owned Global Infrastructure Partners was nearing a $38 billion deal to acquire the utility group. And U.S.-listed shares of Canada's Lithium Americas soared more than 23% after the U.S. Department of Energy said it has taken a 5% stake in the mining company and a separate 5% stake in the company's Thacker Pass joint venture with General Motors. Thacker Pass is set to be the largest lithium source in the Western Hemisphere.
Thursday already as we take a look at your weather forecast for northwest Pennsylvania. Sun and clouds mixed today with temperatures in the low 70s. Partly cloudy skies tonight with lows in the upper 40s. Friday, sunshine, upper 70s. Saturday, partly cloudy, low 80s. Sunday, sunshine, low 80s. Monday, mostly sunny with temperatures in the low 80s. That is a look at your weather forecast at 7:14. This is the morning drill. You're watching it on Stream TV and on the Armstrong Neighborhood Channel.
Alarm clock rings, I'm up with the sun. Pour that coffee, the day's begun. Buzz in the air like a brand new song. Luke and Amy got me singing along.
Happy Thursday, getting you closer to the weekend. I said that yesterday, but wow, we're like right on the doorstep. Looking forward to an exciting weekend. It's going to be a beautiful weekend, too, so that's great. If you got a lot of things going on or outdoor things planned, it looks like here in northwest Pennsylvania it's going to be pretty good as temperatures are going to warm up even more tomorrow, upper 70s and back into the 80s this weekend and the start of next week. So, yeah, enjoy it while it's here because we're going to be diving into the 60s probably by Wednesday of next week. So it looks like those daytime highs are only going to hit about 60, 61, maybe upper 60s a week from this Friday. So whatever that date is, the 10th of October, somewhere in there. So I know Apple Fest weekend is this weekend in downtown Franklin. It's hard to believe it's here already, and we can run down some of the events going on. It's going to be a full weekend. I was talking to some folks yesterday from that area, and when it's not just downtown Franklin that's impacted, but like it does spread out, and there's a lot of excitement for this year's Apple Fest weekend, and I think probably a lot of it has to do with the weather, because it's going to be absolutely beautiful. October 3rd, 4th, and 5th, Apple Fest weekend. Okay, so about 16 hours away from all the fun of Apple Fest. From food to their apple pancake breakfast, there's a car show and cruising, arts and crafts, apple pie baking contest, Let's see. Pink Splash for the Cure going on, fighting breast cancer together. You've got the Any Pace 5K run and fun run. They've got music and entertainment, Franklin High School Hall of Fame going on this weekend. So, yeah, there's a lot happening. Let's see. We can dive in a little bit here. So, some things happening today, actually. The Franklin High School Hall of Fame 2025 induction ceremony going on. You also have Singing in the Rain, a musical at the Barrow Civic Theater taking place. The Franklin High School Hall of Fame is going to be, that's going to take place at Forever Farms on Miller Road in Franklin. That's a social hour around 5:30, ceremony at 6:30, in case you're interested in that. Then Friday. So Friday really kicks things off. Arts and crafts and entertainment from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. That's Fountain and Bandstand Parks. So right downtown. Both parks full of events with arts and crafts and entertainment. Apple Pancake Breakfast happening 7 to 11 a.m. Takeout available starting at 6. That's at St. Patrick's Cafeteria. Price is $13 for adults, and I'm not sure what the price is for kids. Farmers Market taking place. That's going to be on 12th Street. Friends of the Library used book sale, 10 to 5, Franklin Public Library. Oh, that'd be, boy, we got, what was that? A few years back, we went to our local library's used book sale.
Yes.
And found some really cool books.
We did.
So, you've got Temporary Tattoos by Holy Jeans, 10 to 4. We know somebody who used to perform with Holy Jeans.
Yeah.
Face Painting by Connie. That's in Bandstand Park. Gigantic Book Fair and Open House at the Venango County Historical Society. DeBent's Antique Music World Tours. Victorian Residential Architecture Walking Tour. That'd be fun. Tiffany Window Tours and Luncheon. Franklin Preservation Church Tour. This is all tomorrow. Apple Pie and Dumpling Tent. Music at the Bandstand. Singing in the Rain at the Barrow Civic Theater. There will be no rain, though, in real life. It is going to be a beautiful weekend. Yeah, they should change the name of it. So there's so much going on. And if you go to franklinapplefest.com, you can get the schedule. But boy, do people come from all over the place to attend Applefest. So, any of your friends talking about like, oh yeah, it's Applefest weekend?
Yeah, I think. I don't know. Yeah.
Kids have school tomorrow, right? Or no?
Do they?
I don't know. In years past, they would take.
Yeah, I think they're off on Monday.
Okay, really?
Yeah. Yeah, because they're off on Monday. I don't know.
Okay.
I'm looking.
I don't care. I mean, I was just asking. It's not like I have to know.
You don't have to know.
No, not at all. Saturday, again, a lot of the things I just mentioned are happening again Saturday and Sunday with added things over the weekend. So, all right, Applefest weekend is here. Now, normally, we'd be saying, not only is it Applefest weekend, but Clarion, it would be Autumn Leaf Festival. But not this year. They do. This is crazy to me. Their Autumn Leaf Festival coincides with their homecoming.
Yeah, I think it's cool.
Sure.
Okay.
No, I'm only saying Autumn Leaf, I think, is such a big thing on its own. You don't need to have a sidekick.
Everything. Gotcha.
You know?
Yeah.
So I like this is the time of year for that. And I think there was a lot of people that probably went to both. Mm-hmm. So Autumn Leaf Festival will now be later in October. But again, it's just kind of one of those years I think the organizers probably thought, well, should be back to normal next year. But
yeah.
So that's Autumn Leaf still a few weeks away, but Applefest weekend is here.
We got birthdays and what we're celebrating. We're going to be doing that in just a moment. Crawford County Commissioner Christopher Seeley is set to join us
All right.
later in the program. Catch up with him. Can you believe the November election will be here in a month?
I don't want to talk about it.
Just over a month?
I know.
Wow.
It's crazy.
We're going to get, this is cool. So Scott Shell was on back in September with us right after the fair. So he didn't have all the numbers. We'll see what we've learned since that time in terms of fair attendance and all of that. We'll talk about the election coming up. And, they're going to be budget. So.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Even though the state kind of still waiting. Government shutdown. Hey, just keep adding to it. We're okay. By the way, if you missed us with the news at the top of the hour, we'll recap the headlines at the bottom of the hour here, and you'll get up to date on everything. Jane Goodall passed away.
I saw that.
We'll have that for you. Shutdown and how it really shouldn't affect the economy that much. What's that tell you? And then some other things in there. A lot of business headlines, stuff on Wall Street. And so, a lot to get to here this morning. In addition to Applefest, it's great. There's so many events going on, a lot happening. So
it's a busy week.
We were talking to the chamber directors yesterday, and Meadville Chamber, Venango Chamber. And it's like, you think, okay, maybe it slows down for those folks. Mm-hmm. It's like there's even more. And they say on top of that, they've got whatever events they're doing, but that runs right into like the local community holiday Christmas events. And Franklin will have their light up night here in just over a month.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy.
Oh, it's spectacular.
Oh, it is.
Well, hey, let's go back. Let's go back the end of this month. What, the largest nighttime parade?
Yeah.
With the Halloween parade in Meadville. A lot of people looking forward to that. I think that's the 25th. Did I see that?
I'm not sure.
Okay, is that a Saturday?
Do you want to get on that?
Yes, it is a Saturday, the 25th. I will say, it seems like October has a bunch of extra days in it. It sounds stupid, but I'm really excited about this. Here's what I'm saying. So our football schedule initially was 9 weeks. They just picked up the 10th week. Now, normally you're thinking, that's the end of October, right? That'd be like the 31st, Halloween. But no, it's the 24th. So there'll be that next week that will be open. So
it's funny to me because a few years ago, our community adopted the trick or treat on Halloween.
Yeah.
And where I grew up, it was, the Thursday night before.
Yeah.
But it's worked out okay sometimes, but like this year it's on a Friday night, barring anything else in the world.
Yeah.
It's the night I work late. It's, it's like, oh, this is going to be, and we don't just stand at the door and hand out candy. Like, we are usually all in it. So
right. Except I'm really disappointed this year. I didn't get the costume I wanted. Other than that, honey, I'm ready to go.
You're ready to go.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was dead set on being this one thing for Halloween, and I've been an adult about it.
I'm so proud of you.
Thank you. It's not that you've said no. It's not that you haven't been supportive. I mean, you haven't, but you haven't been supportive, and it's a bit costly. So I understood that.
It's not that I haven't been supportive.
Yeah. Well, you haven't been like, no, honey, you really should figure out how to do that. That would be great. I think I was expecting some of that, because this was back in June or July. I started this conversation with you. Like, I'll build up. I'll order a couple things at a time until it's done.
You're a grown man. You can do whatever you want.
Well, some would argue with that, so I'm not going to.
Oh, okay.
Let's get to birthdays and what we're celebrating, shall we?
Sure.
Today is the second day of October. Who is celebrating a birthday today?
Singer Sting is 74 today.
Wow, really?
Yeah. Actress Lorraine Bracco is 71.
I think she was in, what, Sopranos?
I don't know her. TV host Kelly Ripa, 55. And actress Elizabeth McLaughlin is 32 today. And that is all.
So Mark and Kelly, right?
Sure.
Live with Mark and Kelly.
I've never
Not
watched.
Regis and Kathy Lee or
Did.
Regis and Kelly or
Yeah.
Ryan, but yeah. So we were doing the husband-wife morning show before.
We were.
Well before.
We were.
Yes.
Yeah.
I know they had initially called and said, hey, would you two like to come to New York City? But we're like, well, we've got kids that are going through school. We'd rather keep them here. So.
It's exactly what happened.
That's, yeah.
Exactly.
Just had to turn it down. Sorry.
Yeah. Is what it is.
But Kelly and Mark, I guess they're doing okay.
Yeah, they got this.
They'll be fine. All right. So that's it for birthdays, right?
It is, yep.
Happy birthday to you if today happens to be your birthday from all of us here today. Let's find out what we're celebrating on the second day of October.
All right, it is Bring Your Bible to School Day, Guardian Angel Day, International Day of Nonviolence, National Custodian Day,
nice.
National Fried Scallops Day, National Name Your Car Day, National Produce Misting Day, National Report Long-Term Acute Care Hospital Fraud Day, World Farm Animals Day, Yom Kippur, and that's all.
Okay. Happy Pick a Something Day.
Best of luck with that day. Why don't you name your car?
Oh, did you say that?
Name your car day.
Maybe I have a name. I just don't want to tell you.
You don't want to share it. I can't say mine live on the air.
Is that something you named or the screaming passengers in your car?
That's about it.
Okay. When you drive, I mean.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You were just telling me this morning our son was
like, hey, Mom,
very observant of your driving abilities.
It wasn't really not my fault. Like, it really was not my fault.
Yes, when people run into the road, it's not your fault. But when people are screaming on the sidewalk, it's your fault.
There was no screaming.
You should be on the road, not driving on the sidewalk.
No.
Honey, people tell me all the time they see you.
On the sidewalk?
You're like not paying attention. You're like multitasking. You're not even allowed to be texting or holding your phone anymore.
I wasn't yesterday.
Yeah. Well, I've got a list of screaming passengers that tell me otherwise.
Okay.
But was our son taking notes on like what not to do?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just checking.
I did there wasn't anything I did.
Okay.
I was completely in the right. Sorry.
Officer.
Oh my Lord.
7:30, your headlines are coming up. What a beautiful start to this day. Your headlines are coming up next.
So says you.
Yeah.
The U.S. government shutdown has thrown the brakes on the flow of federal economic data at a moment of uncertainty. But if history is any guide, the shutdown itself is unlikely to have a lasting impact on the U.S. economy. Part of the reason is the previous 20 shutdowns have been short, lasting about a week or less. They are a headache for the Federal Reserve, especially now as policymakers seek clarity on the employment picture and inflation. Those policymakers won't get the monthly jobs report and other data until the government reopens. They will have to rely on private surveys. Sometimes those are viewed as a poor proxy for the government data. The Fed cut interest rates last month for the first time since December on growing concern about the job market. Financial markets see a near certainty of another rate cut at the central bank's next meeting this month. Though Bonrion Capital Management founder and CEO Shana Orzik-Sizzle says the shutdown could impact this.
I do think the lack of economic data of some of the larger economic data points that the Fed pays attention to could delay the Fed from cutting further.
Meanwhile, even though hundreds of thousands of federal workers are on furlough and a range of important government services are suspended, shutdowns themselves don't typically move the needle for the economy. It depends on what's happening around the shutdown. Stocks took a hit during the last shutdown in 2018, but rebounded quickly, according to Robert Conzo, CEO and managing director of the Wealth Alliance.
Last one was during the Trump era, was 35 days from December of 18 to January of 19. The market dropped, and it started a week before the actual shutdown, so there was a lot of anticipation. Dropped around 15%, then quickly came back and rose past that. Typically, there's headline risk, markets drop, but then they typically come back.
Jane Goodall, the scientist and global activist who spent her life advocating for the environment, has died at 91 years old. That's according to the institute she founded, who said Wednesday she died of natural causes. Goodall was a pioneer, both as a female scientist in the 1960s, as well as for her work studying primates. She blazed a path to follow for a number of women, including the late Dian Fossey. She worked to bring the chimps she loved into the lives of the public, partnering with National Geographic for films, TV, and magazines. By giving chimpanzees names instead of numbers, focusing on their relationships and emotions, and finding that they use tools, she upended scientific norms of the time. She said in a 2002 TED Talk that there isn't a sharp line dividing humans from the rest of the animal kingdom. As Goodall's career evolved, she shifted her focus from primates to climate advocacy after seeing widespread habitat devastation, urging the world to take quick and urgent action.
I'm so well aware of these problems and always trying to think of ways in which we can somehow live in a more sustainable way. And one thing we can do is reduce unsustainable lifestyles. We can start thinking about what we need, not only what we want. We can start thinking about waste. We can start thinking about different ways of farming, like permaculture.
In 2003, she was appointed a Dame of the British Empire, and in 2025, she received the U.S. Presidential Medal of Freedom.
Vehicle shopping? Make sure you check out Titusville Ford first. Shop our amazing selection of new and pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs in stock. Visit us on Route 8 in Titusville and see why our customer service is a cut above the rest. Titusville Ford, your hometown dealer.
Discover unforgettable savings of over $8,000 off your next Chevy truck at Community Chevrolet's September to Remember sales event.
It's like the saying goes, a golden retriever never forgets.
I'm not sure you have that right, Clark. You might want to acknowledge the elephant in the room. What's truly memorable is Community's savings this month of more than $8,000 off a 2025 Silverado and nearly $5,000 off top SUVs like the Tahoe. So don't forget about the September to Remember sales event this month only at Community Chevrolet.
Marsh Home Center Furniture, Appliances, and Bedding is located at 305 East Spring Street in Titusville. Marsh Home Center welcomes you in to explore their growing inventory of name brand furniture, appliances, and bedding. Need something not currently in stock? No problem. Order from Marsh's online catalog and have it delivered right to your door. Visit Marsh's to see their entire showroom. ask questions, see what items are on sale, or just stop in and say hi. Marsh Home Center, Furniture, Appliances, and Bedding, behind Giant Eagle in Titusville.
Emma, did you hear?
Todd's in the hospital.
Who's Todd? He got a collapsed lung from vaping. He thought it was cool.
Not cool.
Promise you won't vape, Emma. It can lead to a lifelong addiction, and we can't be friends if your lungs collapse.
Bogus.
Wacky sitcom teens aren't the best people to talk to your kid about vaping.
Hey, you got a minute?
You are. Start the conversation with your child about vaping today.
Whether you want to go and lead in your craft in the trades, whether you want to go and be that nurse or medical worker and have a real impact on lives, or whether you want to go and help that business improve its bottom line, this is the place, and now is your time to go with confidence, to go with skill, to go succeed. The Education and Training Center at Pitt Titusville.
I needed a place I could feel cared for without the long drive. I chose Meadville OBGYN because both my sisters came here, highly recommended Dr. Kristen. Dr. Kristen makes me feel very comfortable. Like I'm family, like we're friends, very personable. My daughter Evie was born in Breach, and it was Dr. Kristen and Dr. Barco, and they were incredible. It was a wonderful experience. I wouldn't ever want to go anywhere else.
Community Connect Federal Credit Union, serving Crawford, Venango, Forest, and Warren counties. Their mission is to provide quality, low-cost, and personal financial products for the growth and security of their members and families. Stop in, call, or visit our website, communityconnectfcu.com, and click Join to get started. Community Connect Federal Credit Union, 1050 East Spring Street in Titusville.
I'm Ben Leach, Republican nominee for Magisterial District Judge, reminding you to get out and vote Tuesday, November 4th. As the only candidate with over 13 years of real courtroom experience and a dedicated career in the justice system, I've consistently demonstrated the ability to remain fair and impartial. As I continue my lifelong dedication to serving our community, I strive to be the kind of leader our citizens deserve. On November 4th, vote with confidence for a candidate who is qualified day one, bringing the experience needed to serve as your next Magisterial District Judge.
Wall Street's main stock indexes rose on Wednesday, with the Dow eking out a marginal gain, the S&P 500 adding about 1/3%, and the Nasdaq climbing more than 0.4%. Investors largely shrugged off the first day of a U.S. government shutdown, which could delay the release of Friday's key non-farm payrolls report if Democrats and Republicans don't reach a deal on a funding bill by then. Shayna Orzik-Sizzle is founder and CEO of Bonrian Capital Management.
I do think the lack of economic data of some of the larger economic data points that the Fed pays attention to could delay the Fed from cutting further, but we did get soft ADP numbers today, and that gives a little bit of direction, and it supports the Fed's belief that the labor markets are softening. We know that inflation is ticking higher, but the PCE, which is the indicator that the Fed pays attention to, wouldn't report till later in this month, so it's not necessarily impacted right this very second. I don't know that it impacts much right now.
Healthcare stocks rallied for a second straight day after Pfizer cut a deal with President Trump that grants the drug company tariff relief in exchange for lower prices on certain prescription drugs. Pfizer gained more than 6.5%. Thermo Fisher added nearly 9.5%. Other notable stock moves included AES, which rallied more than 16.5% after the Financial Times reported that BlackRock-owned Global Infrastructure Partners was nearing a $38 billion deal to acquire the utility group. And U.S.-listed shares of Canada's Lithium Americas soared more than 23% after the U.S. Department of Energy said it has taken a 5% stake in the mining company and a separate 5% stake in the company's Thacker Pass joint venture with General Motors. Thacker Pass is said to be the largest lithium source in the Western Hemisphere.
Wall Street prepares for a potential government shutdown. Joining us today is Rob Conzo of the Wealth Alliance. Rob, what's your best investing advice for times like these?
It's an interesting time because people get very nervous about shutdowns and there's a lot of headline risks that typically follow. So just for a little context, a little background, the last 50 years have been 21 shutdowns. The two biggest ones that happened, the last one was during the Trump era, was 35 days from December of 18 to January of 19. The market dropped, and it started a week before the actual shutdown, so there was a lot of anticipation. Dropped around 15%, then quickly came back and rose past that. Before that was 1996 with a Clinton era. It was 21 days. So we know a couple of things about shutdowns. Typically, there's headline risk, markets drop, but then they typically come back. And when you have a situation like that, we tell people there's a couple of things you really can do, and that's a couple. You could buy stocks on the dip, and number two, you could take tax losses. Now, trying to predict areas, we all know gold's at a new high. Some people are flocking towards money markets. We're more in the camp of let's take some discounts. Let's take some buys or stocks. Let's get some tax losses. So that's what we're advocating people to do, not to try to predict, is this going to be a 2-week, a 1 week, a 35-day? I think that's just too hard, and the way to go is also too hard to go off of.
There are some analysts that saying this could be worse, particularly given the fact that Trump is threatening to fire a large amount of federal workers. What do you think? Do you think that we could see more volatility as a result?
Well, Trump has basically, like he always does, raised the stakes in a real big game of chicken. And he threw this last one out, which is mass firings. But typically, we've never seen in shutdowns firing people. Furlough, yes, and that could happen. As far as more market jitters as a result, this is really Trump calling out the Democrats and saying, look, I'm willing to go to the mat on this one. I think it's more of a negotiating tactic. We don't believe there'll be mass firings. And as far as how long the government shutdown will be, he's already proven he's not afraid to shut down the government. He did it at the end of 18 into 19 for the longest time period. It was 35 days. Before that was Clinton, 21 days. So he's willing to do it. As far as firings, no, we don't see it. And I think more market volatility due to firings. I think it provides just a lot of good talk, but not more market volatility as a result.
Well, should the government shut, we won't get some key economic data like Friday's jobs report. Do you see that as potentially clouding the Fed's view as it tries to shape its monetary policy?
Well, it doesn't help, that's for sure. But I will say, if you look at the data that generally we've gotten to this point, PCE going from 2.6 to 2.7, very low for the year. It's basically flat. Unemployment at 4.3. Retail sales doubling estimates. On the earnings front, you're looking at 11.7 on the S&P for the second quarter, to the third quarter in a row, double-digit growth. 81% of S&P 500 companies beating their earnings estimates. This is good news. Maybe if we do have a pause in some data, maybe not the worst thing in the world. We are in an area of hypersensitivity as far as transparency is concerned. I don't see it being that bad to push this off a bit if it does happen. And if it doesn't, then we're still back on track to where we are.
Well, the Fed has been concerned about a weakening labor market, and we did get economic data today about the jobs market. We got the JOLTS report for August that showed more jobs were added than expected, but hiring also decreased. Talk us through the data that we saw today.
Yeah, the JOLTS report just came out, which is a job openings and labor turnover survey. But when you really look through the numbers, going from 97 to 94, which was the last month 97, this month 94, small drop around 3. The Michigan survey did back that up as well. It did drop a little, 58 to 55. But my numbers are funny. Look at the American Association of Individual Investors, AAII survey. That went from 28 to all the way up to 42. That's a big increase. So pick your poison. I think there's worse sentiment. Yes. Why? Tariff concerns, potential government shutdowns, labor, not hiring as much. So people are worried. And let's not forget, we're in the third year of a bull market. When that happens, the anxiety goes up, people get nervous, and you do see some negative sentiment on what's on the horizon. So I'm not surprised that it dipped a little, but it's not an area I'm hanging my hat on. The real data that just came out and has been coming out, PCE, retail sales, earnings, unemployment. These are very, very strong numbers, and most economists believe the economy is in a pretty good spot. And let's not forget, the yield curve is now not inverted anymore. The spread on that is like 57 basis points. That's big. That's also not pushing towards a recession at all. So I'm feeling pretty good about the economy.
OpenAI, the company behind ChatGPT, has reportedly reached a valuation of $500 billion. It follows a deal in which current and former employees sold roughly $6.6 billion worth of shares. That's according to a source familiar with the matter who told Reuters the news on Thursday. This would represent a bump up from its current valuation of $300 billion and underscores OpenAI's rapid gains in both users and revenue. Reuters reported details of the stock sale earlier in August. As part of the deal, OpenAI employees sold shares to a consortium of investors. They include Thrive Capital's SoftBank and Dragoneer Investment Group, among others, according to the source. They added that the company had authorized sales of $10 billion plus worth of stock on the secondary market. The investment firms involved did not immediately respond to Reuters' requests for comment.
A specialty coffee in Brazil could be providing a way forward for the industry as it faces steep tariffs from the United States, its largest market. It's called Jacu bird coffee and is a high-end Arabica that's eaten, digested, and defecated by the fowl native to Brazil's Atlantic forest before being turned into a brew. Rogério Lemke is the agriculture supervisor at the farm behind its production.
O grão de café, ele é tipo uma esponja.
The coffee bean is like a sponge that absorbs everything. The jacu doesn't just eat coffee, it eats fruits too. Inside its stomach, the coffee bean absorbs the characteristics of those fruits, and that stays in the bean.
E aí fica ali dentro do grão. Quando eu torro este café,
when I roast that coffee, the flavors are enhanced, making it a fruity coffee with more balanced acidity and bitterness. So it's a different coffee because of those characteristics.
Então, ele é café diferente por essas características.
The farm got the idea to enlist the birds' help after watching them peck at ripe coffee cherries and recalling coffee from Indonesia made from beans that pass through the digestive system of civets, the nocturnal mammal. Japanese, British, and increasingly Brazilian consumers are not poo-pooing this varietal. They are embracing it, according to the farm, though the production is very small and the price runs up to $1,300 a kilo. Thanks to that, even as Brazil's premium coffee exports began to fall sharply due to tariffs, this particular brew has appeared to defy the downturn. It is providing a potential roadmap for the industry that its future may depend on reaching beyond its biggest traditional market, as exports to the U.S. fell 70% in August from July, according to the Brazilian Specialty Coffee Association.
As tarifas são preocupantes.
Tariffs are a concern, of course, for everyone. We sell coffee worldwide, including to the United States, which has tariffs. It's worrying, but it won't stop us.
Preocupante, porém não é uma coisa que vá atrapalhar a gente.
We produce high-quality organic coffee, and quality coffee has value. It's sought after in many parts of the world. So yes, tariffs are complicated, but we're still able to sell our harvests easily.
Consegue escoar a nossa safra com mais facilidade.
All I can say.
Nope. No.
Cheers.
Cheers.
All
Cheers
right.
to affordable coffee.
You probably don't want to know where that coffee came from, though. All right, let's check that forecast real quick. Sun and clouds mixed today with temperatures in the low 70s. Partly cloudy skies tonight with lows in the upper 40s. Friday, sunshine in upper 70s. Saturday, partly cloudy, low 80s. Sunday, sunshine, low 80s. Monday, mostly sunny with temperatures in the low 80s. That is a look at your weather forecast at 7:53. This is the Morning Drill. You're watching it on Stream TV and on the Armstrong Neighborhood Channel. Happy Thursday. Glad you're with us here this morning. I know earlier we were talking about Apple Fest weekend in Franklin. You talk to the chamber directors, and I was talking to a guest yesterday about Apple Fest, and she volunteers with the group. They say they fund their entire field trips for the year off of charging people to park in their parking lot.
Really?
During Apple Fest weekend.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So if you think again, okay, the chambers work so hard at putting these festivals and events on, or whatever groups are doing that. There is a benefit to your downtowns and neighboring areas. So.
And when you're upset because you're paying to park.
Yeah. Or you got to park far away and walk to your store.
Yeah.
So especially, I know downtown Franklin's been under construction with a lot of, main projects, and they're going to continue next summer. Next summer, from what I understand, is going to be worse than this past year. It's going to really affect downtown. So, these businesses, and the other thing that was brought up, your whole year is based off of some of these big events, right? Are you having, where businesses will say, oh, it was a great weekend. It was almost an Apple Fest weekend, or it was almost a Thunder in the City type of weekend, or Thurston Classic type of weekend, or Oil Festival, or Oil Heritage Festival. You judge your week sometimes, or weekends, based off of those events. So very important for our small businesses. So again, if you're taking part, know that when you're paying that fee to park, it's going to help somebody. Or when you go into a business and do some shopping, you're helping somebody.
So one of my peers, there was an event in our sister state. Huge event. I think it was a game. It was like a baseball. It would have been like the Seawolves game. And there's Seawolves parking, we know, but there really wasn't space to park. So there were people that were managing public lots, allowing you, to park in the public lots, and they would make sure that your car wasn't stolen or damaged. It was like, oh, and it wasn't like that guy managing the lot, it wasn't his lot. It was just like a weird scenario. I'm like, it makes me kind of thankful though for like what you're explaining right now, because I know if you're going to park in the church parking lot, then it's probably the church collecting the money, or the organization collecting the money, not some random stranger promising to protect your car. It was just like the weirdest scenario. I'm like, what are you talking about? Yeah. Small town sometimes is good. Very, very, very good.
Yeah. Well, like I said, and probably for this weekend, a lot of places that you're going to be looking to park, they're charging you are going to be like your churches, your whatever youth group, or I don't know for certain, like a Boy Scout or Girl Scout type thing. So again, like she was saying, that they open their lot and it funds their field trips.
Yeah.
So that's great. Hey, we were
You're making a donation. You're doing a good thing. Sorry, go ahead.
We were talking about coffee, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, here's another coffee story here this morning. Not quite as colorful. It's been a household name in the coffee industry. Maxwell House, the coffee brand that sits in many Americans' pantries, is rebranding for the first time in 133 years.
Holy cow.
To Maxwell Apartment for a limited time to meet the needs of consumers in 2025. It's a time where value matters now more than ever. Americans seek value in their areas of their everyday life, including where they live, in nearly a third opting to rent versus purchase a home. The brand said in a news release published to Kraft Heinz website, the parent company. To celebrate the name change, Maxwell Apartment is offering a 12-month lease of their coffee as a way for consumers to stock up on coffee for the entire year. The classic coffee brand introduced the limited edition Maxwell Apartment canister on National Coffee Day on September 29th, and a few more are still up for grabs on Amazon. The Maxwell Apartment bundle is on sale for $39.99. So just a limited time thing. So consumers can still purchase the regular Maxwell House coffee canisters online and at grocery stores. Maxwell Apartment is part of a limited time marketing campaign.
It's going to be like another...
It's just a limited time. It's,
okay.
It's
not a Cracker Barrel scenario.
No, they're having some fun. For those who don't have a house or are looking to buy a house, you can get the Maxwell Apartment
version.
Yes.
Of the coffee.
Watch. Some people will be like, oh, it tastes better. It's the same coffee. Just so you know.
Different packaging.
Different packaging. Yeah. It just says apartment across it.
Interstate Pipe and Supply takes pride in providing superior customer service. That's why our dedicated employees are well trained and have the experience to offer friendly, quick, and reliable service and support. Need materials delivered to your job site? No problem. Interstate offers fast delivery from our 4 locations in Western Pennsylvania. We also serve Eastern Ohio, Northern Western Virginia, and Western New York. Service means business at Western Pennsylvania's premier pipe and supply company, Interstate Pipe and Supply.
Anyone with a kind and generous heart and a little money can be a philanthropist. You too can be a force for good in our community, and the Crawford Heritage Community Foundation is here to help you make the most of your charitable giving. We've partnered with hundreds of people like you to make our world and our community a better place. You can give through us to support scholarships or any charitable organization or purpose. Whether you're interested in establishing a permanent endowment or adding to an existing fund, we want to be a part of your plan. Contact us when you're ready to make your mark. Together, we can make your contribution go further.
The Gordon B. Garrett Funeral Home has been serving the needs of Titusville and surrounding communities since 1965. Mr. Garrett believed in tradition and commitment to excellence, standards that have been passed down from one generation to now a new generation, who will work to provide you with a beautiful, lasting tribute to your loved one. When you need them, they will be there for you. This has been their foundation for almost 60 years. The Gordon B. Garrett Funeral Home, 303 North Washington Street in Titusville. Share the fun of train travel and relive our country's oil history as you ride the OC&T through the valley that changed the world. Learn about the past while traveling on vintage cars. See a variety of wildlife with stops at Drakewell Park, Petroleum Center, and Oil Creek State Park. Arrive early and see the vast collection of train and railroad memorabilia at Perry Street Station. After the ride, enjoy a night's stay at the Caboose Motel. For seasonal specials or for more information, visit octrr.org or call 814-676-1733. For over 30 years, J. Gill Plumbing and Heating has taken pride in being the premier heating and air conditioning service provider in the area. Our highly skilled and certified technicians will work closely with you to address your heating and air conditioning repair, installation, or maintenance needs. And with the J. Gill Service membership, you can take advantage of additional benefits like filter replacements and priority service scheduling. Plus, members get 10% off future projects. Call today to get a free estimate or ask about financing options. Call J. Gill Plumbing and Heating today or visit them online at jgillplumbingheating.com. Marsh Home Center Furniture, Appliances, and Bedding is located at 305 East Spring Street in Titusville. Marsh Home Center welcomes you in to explore their growing inventory of name brand furniture, appliances, and bedding. Need something not currently in stock? No problem. Order from Marsh's online catalog and have it delivered right to your door. Visit Marsh's to see their entire showroom. Ask questions, see what items are on sale, or just stop in and say hi. Marsh Home Center Furniture, Appliances, and Bedding, behind Giant Eagle in Titusville.
211 is a simple telephone number to remember when you don't know where to go for help. Dial 211 when needing to find health and human services for everyday needs and in crisis situations. It's free and confidential, and you'll have access to thousands of programs and services for emergency and non-emergency situations. Visit pa211nw.org to learn more, and remember, help is available by calling 211.
Are you tired of juggling multiple pill bottles? Titusville Express Pharmacy has your solution, now offering compliance packaging. Your medication sorted and sealed by dose, making it easier than ever to stay on track. In a hurry? Take advantage of our convenient drive-through service. We also offer free local delivery for those that qualify. Titusville Express Pharmacy, where convenience meets care. Visit us today at 401 West Spring Street in Titusville. Simplify your medication routine with Titusville Express Pharmacy.
Joining us this morning, our friends from ERA Richmond Real Estate. We got Mike and Ben with us. Gentlemen, good morning. Good to see you this morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Just for the audience who might not know who you are, just give us a quick introduction.
I'm Mike Crowther. I'm a real estate agent at ERA Richmond Real Estate out of the Titusville office. And this is Ben Berger.
Yep. Ben here, yep, broker of record of ERA Richmond Real Estate. Not the owner. My grandmother, Linda Peters, is still the owner. I took over in her place for broker of record, and I work out of the Meadville office there on North Main Street. So,
well, Ben, welcome. Good to see you.
Yeah,
Mike, good to see you too. It seems like we were just talking about some great listings, and it's been a busy summer for you. So, give us a quick update, business news, and then we'll get into what's been going on this summer. So, Ben, you took over, so congratulations.
Yep, thank you. So it was a slow start this winter, early in the year, but now things are just kind of picking up, and it still is going strong. I mean, it slowed down a little bit compared to last month. It seemed like everybody was busy, and you needed to ask other agents for help, and like you weren't enough being one person.
Yeah,
you needed to be two people at once. So it's kind of slowed down since last month, but it's still really steady right now. It's good.
That's great, Mike. I think when we were talking, I think weather plays a big role in that. Winter was really hard, and I think some people were like, "Hey, when it gets a little bit better out there, we'll come and figure things out." And but it's been nice this summer so far.
Yeah, I know the past couple weeks out of the Titusville office, we've been busy. Heather Schmader is the other agent in there. There's a couple other agents as well, but Heather and I have been extremely busy. I would say in the past month, we've had more foot traffic in our Titusville office than we've had in the past 6 months. And it's just on a rolling basis. And that's between, upcoming commercial listings, vacant land listings, residential listings, and representing buyers. So we're busy.
So maybe we can break it down into just the different markets, Titusville, Meadville, Conneaut Lake. I know that's a popular area as well. But Mike, let's start with you. This side of Crawford County, what are people looking for in terms of buyers? Are people still wanting, some land? Is it mixed up a little bit? And then we'll add the commercial side of it.
I say right now, between residential listings and land, it's about 50-50. I have just as many land transactions going, sellers wanting to list their property and buyers wanting to buy land. Okay. And then the residential piece, just whatever they can find. Some people are, very specific. They want to be out in the country, have a ranch home or a 2-story home with a couple acres. And then we're also getting an influx of people buying in the city of Titusville, on the outskirts. And I even had an individual from the state of Washington come back.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he retired out of the military. This was his hometown. And he came in, we hit the ground running, and it took a while, but we found the right home. So,
So that was my question. My next question to you is: Are these people just are they moving here for the first time, or is there a connection here, or what are you finding?
I've got 2 buyers right now. Like I said, the one from the state of Washington. This was his hometown. Actually, out by Corey. Okay, but he does have family in Titusville, and then I have another individual. Her and her husband are retired. They're from Oil City. They want to be, between Titusville and Seneca. And, they want to sell their house in Tennessee and come back here. So we got several buyers that are coming back to the area.
Wow, that's great. Ben, what are you seeing your side of the county?
Yeah, over by us in Meadville area, Conneaut Lake, people tend to just buy the move-in ready homes. That's what a lot of people like. Before it seemed like if you had a fixer-upper, it seemed like everybody would kind of jump on that. Now it's kind of like investors that are jumping on those, and they're not going off the market as quick as they have been in the past couple of years. So move-in ready, you got your bathrooms all fixed up nice, remodeled those, the kitchen looks nice. That's what's flying off the market right now. As far as land goes, it depends on the area, the school district, where it's at, what's on the land. That's just how land is everywhere, I think. But for the most part, land goes pretty quick. And then commercial, I know you were touching on commercial a little bit. Commercial's just been tough in our area. I think anywhere in Crawford County it's been tough just because it's not somewhere, like Cranberry Township, Wexford, somewhere down south towards Pittsburgh, or like up in Erie even goes quick. And Crawford County, commercial doesn't seem to really you got to find the right buyer for it. It's a very niche market for that. So it's hard to find somebody, that's trying to build a new business.
More to go through with a commercial property, or at least for somebody starting a business. I mean, because they have to go and present business plans and all this. Is that part of the reason it takes a little longer?
Yeah, and the biggest thing is the profit and loss statement for a company that's wanting to sell it turnkey. If somebody's getting a loan, you got to make sure that the P&L could pay the mortgage on it. Okay, so that's one of the big things. But also, there's a lot of moving parts to get the commercial deal under contract from the time you list it to find the right buyer, make sure their financials can go, and then, if it's going to be a right fit for that buyer.
What does profit mean?
Yeah,
jot this down.
That's a big thing.
But there's a lot of opportunities, though, aren't there? I mean, if somebody really wanted to, and you both can address this, if somebody wanted to sit down with you and say, hey, I'm interested in not starting a business, but purchasing a business, they could come in and have that conversation with you guys?
Oh, yeah. I have a buyer right now that I'm working with, and he has different avenues he'd like to approach. Okay. The one business is totally different than the other one, but he's investing in them, and he's looking at all possibilities. Because I know Ben mentioned the investor piece, and I know we're seeing a lot of that here in the Titusville area, not just in commercial, but investing in rental properties, for example. Okay, but on the commercial side, there are a lot of people that they want to get a proprietorship in it, maybe bring other people on board, maybe not necessarily be there every day running the company, but have an investment in it and own it. And we're seeing some of that too.
That's great.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm seeing a lot of leads come in. Anytime you have a rental or a commercial rental, just commercial property in general, you get a lot of leads that are investors from out of state. They just kind of want to know, profit and loss, P&L, and kind of want to take part in this area.
Yeah, and they obviously have a right to figure that out and know what they're getting involved with.
Oh, yeah.
Do you ever, are you ever out maybe at the store and you hear people talking about, I hear this property is going to be this, and you're like, in your mind thinking, no, this is way off.
Yeah, occasionally you hear something like that.
Yeah. So any specific properties you want to bring up to highlight? Is there anything, Titusville, Meadville, again, Connie Lake? And I guess, what is your reach? How far do you go?
We go quite a ways.
Yeah. There really, technically there isn't a limit. We can go anywhere in Pennsylvania, but our area, at least my mom and I kind of work together, and she'll go as far as Erie. I've shown houses down in Sharon before.
Oh, wow.
So it just depends on what you're comfortable with, because as a real estate agent, you're there for the buyer and the seller, and you want to be helpful to them. So if you're showing houses out in Harrisburg, not that you would go there, but if you did,
it's got to be cost effective.
Yeah.
And you don't really know that market anyway, so there's no point in going or trying to sell something. You might as well just refer it out. So we try to help people the best we can, and we try to stick to our market, which is typically, for my mother and I, Erie County, Crawford County, and maybe a little bit of Mercer County.
Well, if you get a list of all the counties, you got that we cover with all three offices, Meadville, Connie Lake, and Titusville. You got Erie, Crawford, Warren, Venango, Mercer, Forest, sometimes Allegheny, but there's almost 8 counties at Warren County that we cover, because right here, Warren County, Venango County, Crawford County, Forest County, Mercer, you're out there a little bit, but there's 5 counties right there that we cover right here.
Yeah, in a short radius.
Yeah. And I know, because last week I hit almost all 5 of them. The past 2 weeks, hit all 5 of them counties.
Wow.
And then, like he said, there's a buyer that I have that they want to be down the Slippery Rock area. They're from here, but they want to be down there. And I know an agent down in that area, and just to do that buyer due diligence, if something pops up on the market, I'm 45 minutes away, refer it out. You got to take care of your buyer that way. So, the network is huge. Even though it might be an agent out of our office, we still network to take care of our clients.
And that has to make you feel good, knowing that somebody appreciates what you've done for them and they want to work with you, right? But it's also like, okay, well, there's somebody down there that might be able to do it a little bit better, handle it. They'll know the area a little bit more. So and this is really cool because again, every day is probably different for you guys. But you mentioned, people wanting to move in and have a house that's sort of ready to go. Is that what you're advising people that are on the selling side of things? Like when you're going through and checking out a property with somebody and they're getting ready to sell, are you also providing them with information like, here, I think you guys should, maybe get this fixed or do this? What's that process like?
Yeah, so it all depends. Not everyone is the same. Like you said, every day is different.
Yeah.
And if it was black and white, I could read it out of a book. I could just give every seller, a little picture book and tell them what to do exactly, and their house will sell right away. But it's not that easy. So it just depends. Some sellers are really adamant that they want your help. They want you to tell them exactly what to do on everything. Other ones are like, this is what it is. I'm going to sell it as is. I don't really care. But the ones that do want help, we'll give them pointers. If the paint's looking a little rough and everything else looks good, we'll tell them maybe to throw down some paint. Or if they're talking about the flooring, it looks bad. It just depends on the property. Sometimes we'll tell them, yeah, new flooring will actually really help this thing sell. Or other times it's just like, well, the rest of the house isn't, all that great. So I would just leave it and, let the buyer have their own imagination. But we try to help them out the best we can. Again, the biggest things that sell are redoing bathrooms and kitchens. That's really the biggest point in our area. A new bathroom and a new kitchen will make it look good.
And there's a few things that, mechanical-wise, that you always point out, regardless of the condition of the house. For example, hot water heater. Make sure it's got that extension tube on the blow-off valve. Okay, that's a $10 fix. Maybe making sure that their GFI, the ground faulted receptacles, near kitchen sink and the bathroom sink. Okay, because sometimes, on a conventional, some appraisers will call them, some won't. On government loans, those will get called if they're not done. So you can go through and say, your house is immaculate, it's perfect, but you don't have these. We recommend getting those done. And especially the breaker panel, make sure there's no double taps. But there are some mechanical things that we look at and say, hey, cover this right now and save the hassle later.
So the extension cord I have running to my neighbor to power our house, I'd have to get that addressed if I was ever going to sell my house.
Yeah, just don't run the meter backwards.
Oh.
Take notes.
Things I wish I knew. I'm joking, of course. You're watching The Morning Drill on Stream TV and on the Armstrong Neighborhood Channel. Friends from ERA Richmond Real Estate with us here this morning. I find what you do fascinating because it's got to be so cool to see the inside of. You drive past homes all the time, right? And I know when there's a for sale sign, you always wonder, like, I wonder what it looks like in there. And I think that leads people to go online and look at pictures and just dream and imagine. Does it still feel exciting to you, even after all this time in the business?
Oh yeah. Yeah, because when you walk into a house, every house has a story. Okay, just a real quick example. When I first got into real estate, there was down in Titusville, not far from East Main Street, there was what they call a small mansion. Okay, and another agent had it listed. I showed the buyers, but the sellers were there, and they were two sisters, and they wanted to sell. They were from Florida. Well, the story goes, we're going through this house, and it's really cool, a lot of history. Well, when those ladies were girls, little girls, they can remember their grandparents when they would come. The Carnegies and the Rockefellers would come in and have dinner there at this house because they were investors in the steel mills here in Titusville. And I just said, wow. I said, that's cool. She goes, oh, yeah. She said, we were little, but we heard Mr. Rockefeller, Mr. Carnegie, and it's some of their family. And it's like, wow, now that's a story. Yeah, and it was right down here in Titusville.
That's crazy.
Yeah, no, it is funny you bring that up because, I mean, as a kid growing up, my grandmother's been in it for over 50 years. My mother's been in it for older than I am, over 30 years now, or 30 on the dot.
And she's only 36, so that's... wow.
Yeah, but we would always ride around in the car with them as kids, and they would be looking at houses driving down the road, and oh, I've been in that one, or oh, the story on that one, or that was a cool one to go through, and I'm like, what are you guys saying? Nobody cares. Like growing up, I'm like, who cares? You guys are crazy. But now when I'm driving down the road and I have a friend in the car, we're going somewhere, I'm like, oh yeah, I sold that one. I've been in that one. That one was a fun sale, or that one was a tough one to sell, and they're probably thinking the same thing I was as a kid in the car. They're like, dude, cool for you. Like nobody cares, man.
Yeah, but I do you ever go through a property and in the back of your mind you're thinking, boy, I think I'd like to take this. This is...
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm always texting my wife saying, you're going to love this place.
Yeah.
So how many houses am I going to love? She's just, especially ones out in the country that are cabin-y style.
Yeah.
And she's even got to the point, I've been doing this 5 years now. I got licensed 5 years in July 20th. I've been with the company 5 years.
Wow. Congrats.
Yeah, thanks. I just forgot about that. But anyways, my wife, she'll be driving somewhere, or she'll text me. She says, hey, there's a for sale by owner, and sometimes you call and you get the listing, but she keeps her eye out too.
I think we've talked about this before, Mike, but Ben, maybe you can chime in on this. There are people that will try to sell a property on their own, right? But there's probably a lot of things they're not factoring in, right? So why should they be reaching out and having a conversation with you guys?
Yeah, right. So I always tell people, if you want to sell it on your own and you're comfortable doing that, you've done it before, go for it. It doesn't hurt my feelings for you to do that. We're just here, agents are here for you to help the transaction move smoothly, try to get you the most money that you can for your property. Sometimes you'll see for sale by owners, they'll have them listed way too high, then it sits a long time, and then they end up getting less than what they probably could have gotten for it if they would have been in the right price to begin with or marketed the right way. So we're there to try to get you the most money you possibly can for your house. And also, like I said, I hear of all the time for sale by owners, they'll be selling it and say, I'll never do that again. I'm going to use an agent next time, because they had just a massive headache trying to do it on their own. And that I'm not saying, you have to use an agent, but if you don't want that headache or you want to be stress-free and have us handle everything for you, then that's when you would want to use an agent. So we're there to just help you out the best we can, make everything move smoothly.
Most profit for the seller, least amount of time, least amount of hassle.
Yep.
That you try to.
Yeah.
I've had several people reach out to me and say they're going to list it themselves. They go to Walmart, do the for sale by owner, and a couple weeks later they're like, okay, you can get this done, because we take it off their plate. We sign the papers, do what we got to do to get it listed, and then wait for the phone call. We'll let you know when the showings are. Here's an offer or multiple offers. Let's go from there.
Yeah, I don't think sometimes they realize, Mike, and maybe we talked about this too, there's like a whole team behind you that's going to help with that.
Yeah.
From the marketing to pictures, all of that, right? How about the advice that you're also handling with them is, hey, this needs done, or maybe tweak this, but that kind of stuff's invaluable.
Yeah. And what I'm seeing recently is that I know Heather and and Titus will hear her and I've talked about it. People want to list their home in a couple acres or vacant land or whatever, and they'll say, well, I think it'd list for X, and we're like, that's way low on the other end. Like he said, sometimes they list over too high. Well, sometimes we're thinking, they'll say 100,000. It's like, you realize you're close to 200,000 on this? And like, really? It's like, yeah.
Wow.
Especially land. I've gone on 2 land listing appointments here this past week, and they think, well, maybe 1,500 an acre, and I'm like, where's my checkbook? I'll give you $1,500 right now for it.
Yeah. Right.
And it's like, you're close to $4,500 an acre, and they're like, really? And it's like, yeah. So sometimes it's the other way too.
Yeah. Well, Ben, I'm sure it's kind of like trading in a car where they'll tell you this is what it's worth, and you're like, oh no, it's worth more than that.
Yeah.
It's like, well, you're putting your feelings into it, and it's nice to have somebody on the outside say, no, well, here's the reality of the situation.
Yeah.
And Mike, as you say, it can go the other way as well. So
for sure. Yeah. I mean, I can't relate to sellers like that because I've never sold a home. So sometimes their sentimental value, it is what's making them think it's worth so much, or all the time, blood, sweat, tears that they put into the house to make it how they wanted it. And that's why they have it valued so high. But yeah, as somebody like a real estate agent, we can just give you the numbers and show you the data and tell you, hey, it's not I mean, we could try it there if they want to list it or want to do it for sale by owner, but we can try it there, but we're probably right around this number instead.
And so somebody doesn't have to wait for a sign to pop up in a yard to call you guys and say, hey, I want to look at this. If somebody's starting to think, maybe it's time for a move, they can come in and have that conversation so that you're kind of working for them, right? Where you're looking for those properties, or if something comes up, you're calling them. They're on a list of people that you're working with.
Yeah. Yeah, funny about that, though, is sometimes they don't know what they want.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we do that, and I've done that before, and I've had a couple buyers when I first started. They tell me everything they want. They want at least 3 beds, at least 2 bathrooms, this is my max price, and then... And then I'll set them up on a search, and it'll automatically email them anytime a property like that comes up. And I just tell them to keep looking on their own, because you never know. There could be for sale by owners that I can't automatically send you. But so if you see something, let me know. And then they'll send me stuff that's listed by another agent that it didn't get emailed to them. And I'm looking at it, I'm like, well, this doesn't match your criteria at all. Like, this is not even close to what you told me. And they're like, well, we want to go see it. And I'm like, okay. And I have no problem showing it to them, but it's just like sometimes it's hard. You got to feel out your buyers too when you put them on a search, and then you go look at a couple. You kind of got to know what they are looking for. You kind of got to listen to them, and then change the criteria based on what you see, not based off what they tell you, because sometimes they'll miss out on ones and say, "What the heck? You didn't send me this."
I had a friend in the car business say, "Yeah, everybody thinks they want a certain color, but that's really the least, because if this is the only thing we have and they really want it, they'll get it regardless of the color." But hey, how do folks get a hold of you? What phone numbers for each office if they want to work with you, and where can they get more information?
Yeah, so our office in Meadville's phone number is 814-337-6000, and then my personal cell phone number, if you want to reach out to me directly, is 814-853-6748.
Yep, my cell's 814-516-1285. And 337-6000 is the main number. They can call and just ask for any office, Connie Lake, Meadville, or Titusville.
Mm-hmm.
Guys, it's been ringing busy.
Good. Good to see you this morning.
Yeah,
all
nice
the best.
seeing you as well.
Take care.
Right. Directions Community Credit Union is now open in Titusville. They may be new to our community, but they've been serving our region since 1974, providing their members with affordable products and services. Membership is open to anyone who lives, works, worships, volunteers, attends school, regularly conducts business, or who owns a business in Venango, Forest, Warren, or Crawford counties. Visit their new location at 206 South Martin Street in Titusville to learn more about becoming a member. Best of luck to all the students and athletes this fall from New Directions Community Credit Union.
Looking for expert orthopedic care? Dr. Charlie Gates, a trusted name at Titusville Area Hospital, can help you regain mobility and a better quality of life. With years of experience and a passion for personalized care, Dr. Gates specializes in treating a wide range of orthopedic conditions. Whether it's joint pain, sports injuries, or orthopedic surgery, trust Dr. Charlie Gates at Titusville Area Hospital for your orthopedic care. Call 814-827-9770 today to schedule your appointment.
Vanderhoof Heating and Air Conditioning provides residential and light commercial air conditioning services throughout the area. They understand the importance of your cooling system working properly. That is why you can trust in Vanderhoof to do the job right. Whether it's a non-working air conditioner, yearly maintenance, or a new install, you can be assured that we will solve your problem quickly and efficiently. Your home's air conditioning system is far more than just temperature. It's a complete comfort system that combines temperature, humidity, air quality, and above all, safety. Vanderhoof Heating and Air Conditioning in Titusville. Titusville Market Square is home to over 100 unique vendors featuring antiques, collectibles, candles, coins, baked goods, dairy products, food items, comic books, toys, and so much more. You'll discover something new every time you walk through the door. Did we mention the selection of baked goods, breads, Clark's Donuts, and Amish pies? Titusville Market Square has you covered. Stop in to explore today. Titusville Market Square in downtown Titusville.
Our new home.
Somebody pinch me.
Somebody say pinch? Pinch, pinch. We mean we just bought this.
Yeah, we just bought a new house. Why are there crabs?
Oh, you don't call for pinches?
Call for protection.
Hit it. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Your State Farm agent is ready to help you choose the right coverage for your new house and your car.
All right, which way to the sea?
We're in Ohio.
So is that close or?
No.
You got a pool?
No.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
I'm Ronnie Long.
And I'm Lisa Mellon.
The name Armstrong reflects more than just a company. It's a promise.
While others focus on the short term, we're building for a future that's limitless.
From the dawn of cable television to the rise of the digital age, we've delivered cutting-edge technology like our advanced fiber network that redefines what's possible.
Guided by our core values, we have proudly served and strengthened communities like yours for generations.
Fat Chad's is Titusville's premier dining destination. Come hungry and enjoy these menu favorites: T-bone steak, homemade meatloaf dinner, or soft shell crab tacos. Dive into fresh pasta entrees like shrimp and scallop pasta or our signature Asiago chicken. And don't miss our famous burgers and fish sandwiches, all served with fresh cut fries. Fridays mean prime rib specials. Enjoy wild game Saturdays. And on Sundays, it's our all-you-can-eat wing buffet. For good food and good times, it's Fat Chad's Brewing in Titusville.
211 is an easy-to-remember telephone number for finding health and human services for everyday needs and in crisis situations. Every day, highly trained 211 call specialists provide referrals to basic human needs resources like food banks and shelters, physical and mental health, employment support, support for youth and child care programs, and support for adults and persons with disabilities. To learn more, dial 211 or visit pa211nw.org.
Wall Street's main stock indexes rose on Wednesday, with the Dow eking out a marginal gain, the S&P 500 adding about 0.33%, and the Nasdaq climbing more than 0.4%. Investors largely shrugged off the first day of a U.S. government shutdown, which could delay the release of Friday's key non-farm payrolls report if Democrats and Republicans don't reach a deal on a funding bill by then. Shayna Orzik-Sizzle is founder and CEO of Bonrian Capital Management.
I do think the lack of economic data of some of the larger economic data points that the Fed pays attention to could delay the Fed from cutting further, but we did get soft ADP numbers today, and that gives a little bit of direction, and it supports the Fed's belief that the labor markets are softening. We know that inflation is ticking higher, but the PCE, which is the indicator that the Fed pays attention to, wouldn't report till later in this month, so it's not necessarily impacted right this very second. I don't know that it impacts much right now.
Healthcare stocks rallied for a second straight day after Pfizer cut a deal with President Trump that grants the drug company tariff relief in exchange for lower prices on certain prescription drugs. Pfizer gained more than 6.5%. Thermo Fisher added nearly 9.5%. Other notable stock moves included AES, which rallied more than 16.5% after the Financial Times reported that BlackRock-owned Global Infrastructure Partners was nearing a $38 billion deal to acquire the utility group. And U.S.-listed shares of Canada's Lithium Americas soared more than 23% after the U.S. Department of Energy said it has taken a 5% stake in the mining company and a separate 5% stake in the company's Thacker Pass joint venture with General Motors. Thacker Pass is said to be the largest lithium source in the Western Hemisphere.
Well, it's pretty much just repeat here. Sunshine, 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 sunshine. Low 70s today, but we climb back up starting tomorrow, upper 70s, 80s through the weekend, and 80 to start next week. It's next Wednesday before we're like down into the 60s consistently. So enjoy this stretch of weather. It is absolutely perfect. Joining us this morning, Crawford County Commissioner, Mr. Christopher Seeley. Good morning. Good to see you.
Good morning, Luke. How you doing?
Great. How about you?
Good, good.
Good to see you.
Yeah, just looking at that weather report, it looks like it's going to be a good start to archery season. So,
Yeah. There's a lot going on this time of year, and which is great. So I can't believe we're in October. I'm sure you guys have been talking about budget.
Oh, yes.
I'm sure finishing up conversations on the fair, and elections are right around the corner.
Yep, all very big things. Of course, the fair went very well. We're still waiting on all the final numbers on attendance and how they did financially. But if anybody visited through the week, just like that weather report, we only had 1 or 2 rainy days, really. The weather was perfect, and by all accounts, it went off without a hitch. Yes, budget season. We are in the midst of budget meetings with department heads right now. In fact, we got a couple today as soon as I get back to the building. Wow. Yesterday we had one. It's always a slow start. We compress them into 2 weeks in the middle of October. And then that way we're kind of done with them by the time we get really neck deep into the election season, and we can start to process all the numbers and cut here and move things there and all that kind of thing. So over the next couple of weeks, we're going to be pretty busy. There are a couple days where we're essentially in a budget meeting from 8:30 to 4:30, just the whole day long.
So let's take a look at things. I mean, I think you guys have pretty much had open communications with department heads throughout the year, right? So there's not a lot of surprises other than when something happens and needs replaced, or something that's unexpected.
Of course,
right?
yeah. You're in an area of technology. You understand the phrase "end of life" dogs us. we tell our director of IT. I mean, a great guy. We love him. That's absolutely going to be on his headstone, ironically and for real. But anytime there's a major replacement or some sort of catastrophic failure, of course we know about it. But more or less, it's pretty stable. You're right. We have good conversations throughout the year. We're checking in with department heads throughout the year. We do have open lines because we're there all the time. I mean, this is our full-time job. We're there all day, every day. So they pop over and they say, "Hey, just so you know, next year X." It's like, all right, well, we'll have to talk about that when the time comes.
Yeah. But this is that time of year where those conversations become a little more serious, right?
Very
where it's
much
like,
so.
okay, hey, next year it would be nice to have. Now it's like, hey, I'd like to budget for this now.
Yep, and it's kind of the elephant in the room right now, of course, is that with the federal shutdown now and, of course, the state budget impasse, we're kind of saying in-house that right now county government is the highest level of government that's functioning, to be completely honest with you. And we don't wear that as a badge of pride. We wear it as a badge of alarm in a lot of ways. The state budget impasse especially has had a huge impact on our operations at Crawford County. So over the past couple weeks, we've instituted a hiring freeze. We've instituted a non-essential travel ban, and we have rolled back some of our financial policies. So normally what we do is any expenditure that comes through, $50 and less, smaller things. You have to buy a lamp for a table. The commissioners don't see that. We delegate that off to the department heads. We trust them. There's sort of that middle range of anything up to about $1,000 that we allow our CFO and the department heads to confer and make those decisions. Everything above that comes to the commissioners directly. So, and we do that just for efficiency purposes. We don't want people to have to bring us every little nickel and dime thing all year round. However, in light of what's happening now, we've suspended that, and we are now reviewing, the commissioners themselves are reviewing every invoice over $50.
Wow.
And it's not that we don't trust the department heads or the CFO to make the right decision. Of course not. The intent of that is to shift the responsibility from them, because we're under heightened scrutiny right now. Just for context, right now, most of the human services providers, so we'll take, for example, a speech pathologist. A speech pathologist may be $200 an hour, and we have to contract with them for CYS or human services. And what most folks don't realize is that the county only pays maybe 10% of that bill. We might pay $20 on a $200 an hour bill. The Commonwealth pays the rest through reimbursement. So what's happening now is that with the state budget impasse, those reimbursements aren't coming. So the county is having to shoulder 100% of that bill. Yeah, and so what that does is that depletes our general fund. It's our cash on hand is being spent through, and so we've had to make some tough calls. And if anybody saw the pages of the Tribune today, the word furlough is starting to be talked about. Wow. And many of our colleague counties have already had to. I think it was Westmoreland has laid off 120 people, and obviously that's a last stop effort. We don't want to have to do that sort of thing, but we can't stress enough to the folks watching this and the folks listening, you have to contact your legislators. They respond to pressure, and it's political gamesmanship, and we're the ones that are caught in the middle, and it's going to hurt real people, not just our employees, but the people that we serve, and the most vulnerable in our communities that our CYS and our mental health and intellectual disability specialists work with every day. If we have to start cutting services, they're the ones left without that option. And so it is very serious. It often doesn't become serious to the average person until it really hits home. A federal shutdown, they happen all the time. They're almost banal at this point. But
and we've had story this morning saying it really doesn't do much for the economy. I mean, if it's really long, then yes. But when it's
and we've kind of gotten fat, comfortable, and lazy with that sort of thing. I hate to use those terms, but that's kind of what it is. But at the county level, now we see both of these kind of crashing into one another, where the state was always somewhat the bulwark against a federal shutdown. We always were able to take comfort that the Commonwealth would continue to function, we'd be able to fund these services, but we've been kind of caught with our pants down. And so we're kind of left hanging out to dry. So the guys and I are making really tough calls, and we're suspending spending in a lot of places. I'm not calling it a spending freeze. That's not really what it is. We're still paying bills, we're still paying our employees, and the services are still being rendered. But if this goes on, we're now, I think, in day 95 of not having a state budget. It was due June 30th. And here we are.
And you guys have to have your budget done?
December 31st.
And what happens if you don't?
We've never even thought about it because we do it.
Yeah,
there's no doubt about it.
So what do you say to those who just say, well, the example you had, just pay the $200. You'll get reimbursed eventually anyways.
Oh, eventually we will, and that person would be right. Eventually we will. But until then, like Luke, okay, I will pay you next February if you go buy my car today. That's great, but that's still money out of your pocket in the meantime. That's still taking funds away from your normal operations, and that's the situation we find ourselves in.
Well, and then if you end up having to borrow money for something, then there's interest. And eventually you're losing out. So.
Yes. So we have good reserves. I mean, Crawford has been, and this is boards prior to me. I give them all the credit for this, and our financial staff, our treasurer, our finance office, they're very aggressive in how they manage our reserve funds. And so we're okay for a while. That's kind of how we're able to take a slow walk into all these processes. But there are many counties that are not that fortunate, and that's still only going to last for so long. But as you mentioned, going into taking out a line of credit, or right now the Pennsylvania State Treasury is offering loans at a 4.5% interest rate.
Of course they are.
Yeah, it's like, and I understand the reasoning behind that.
Yeah.
There's a legal obligation. They can't give it to you for nothing. I heard that they may be working on being able to do an interest-free loan, which would potentially be an option for us. But in the back of my mind, I'm thinking the state is going to make money on the state's inability to pass a budget in that regard. So we're not really talking very seriously about that right now. But again, all options will be on the table if this continues for much longer.
So how do you start having conversations about next year's budget when so much is up in the air now?
It's very tense.
Okay.
It's very tense. Most of the departments we've met with so far don't rely real heavily on Commonwealth funding in the traditional sense.
Right.
We've met with our emergency services, our public safety, 911. For those who don't know, most of 911 and our emergency services that are county funded are basically self-sustaining through 911 wireless and wired fees. So the little fee you get on your cell phone bill every month, that $1.95 or whatnot, that's what runs our 911 center. So keep paying those cell phone bills. But the county doesn't have a lot of our own skin in that. But anyway, most of those funds, I believe, if not all of them, are still going to be flowing because they're segregated. They're not part of the Commonwealth's general fund, so we're still able to rely on that. But anything could change at any time. But it's very difficult to have a conversation about our own budget when this one's still kind of hanging out. We can only assume that by January 1st of next year there will be a state budget and we can kind of go back to business as usual. But if that is not the case, then we're in a much deeper.
Okay, I was just going to ask you, like, has there been conversation like when it becomes okay? This is pretty serious now. I mean, not that it isn't now because people are affected, right? But is it January? Is it at what point does it become like okay?
It's hard to tell. We're monitoring our cash flow. I think that we've been talking about November as sort of the gauge. If we're getting into November and there's still no movement from Harrisburg, that's when we need to start discussing staffing adjustments.
And asking anybody what your thought is of when this is going to get done is just crazy. You're going to get all sorts of answers.
Oh, of course. Yeah, we've heard rumors not until December. We've heard rumors they're going to do it this week. I mean, we'll believe it when we see it, and we have to be responsible about it, and we have to have a plan and benchmarks of, okay, if by this date nothing has happened, this is what we need to begin to think about. And that's what we're working on internally now.
Why, and this has been brought up too, like school districts, municipalities, counties, whatever, but why aren't we synced up more so that, you can get like the state budget approved so you know what's coming and then schools and others can kind of follow and know.
Yeah, everybody kind of falls on a different fiscal year. Yeah, we have it easy. We're a calendar year, January 1 to December 31. The state is on a fiscal year. The school districts, I believe, don't quote me on this, but I think that they're adjusted maybe. I think theirs begins in August or something like that. So everybody's just off a little bit.
Yeah.
And I think there's probably wisdom in that somewhere. I don't necessarily possess that wisdom to be able to answer that question, but I know that for the taxing schedules for each, you get your tax bill for your school in the fall, you get your spring bill for your local municipality in the county in the spring. So it kind of lines up that way, but it does create a little bit of difficulty, particularly with state funding when we're budgeting something. For example, we may be getting a grant that is on a fiscal calendar, whereas we are a calendar year budget. Yeah. So we're kind of getting like half of it and then half of it for the next year. And it creates a little bit of a budgeting headache, but that's what we call a good problem because that means the money's coming in anyway. We'll manage it however we need to, so long as it's flowing. But right now it isn't.
It's just funny because you hear like school districts, well, we're anticipating the state doing this, so this is kind of our budget instead of this is what the state has. Now we know what our budget is.
Anticipatory.
Yeah.
And I think school districts are in sort of a unique position in that we don't have to contend with that as much.
Right.
But I know that they do.
Okay. You're watching the Morning Drill on Stream TV and on the Armstrong Neighborhood Channel. Crawford County Commissioner Christopher Seeley with us here this morning. Of course, very serious, and that takes a lot of time, and it's important this time of year to be focused on the budget. But let's turn our attention now to the election, which I can't believe just weeks away now.
1 month out. Yeah, this is my favorite topic, and you know that when I come in. We're just a little over 30 days now.
Wow.
Things are firing on all cylinders at the courthouse, where hopefully we'll see our first round of absentee and mail-in ballots. Will go out hopefully by the end of the week. That'll be these hands and the hands of Eric and Scott and all the rest of the gang that'll be building the envelope packets and sending them out. Our board takes a very hands-on approach to elections administrations. We're the ones building the mail-in ballots and putting the label on them and putting them in the mailbox. It's your commissioners doing that, and our director of voter services, and it's a small staff really, but we work well together as a team, and we do some really incredible things. But right now, actually, we do have a potential ask of the Titusville community. We can always use poll workers. And right now, I think there is a need in the city of Titusville for a handful of poll workers. It's a long day, but we compensate you to some degree. You don't have to be a resident of the city of Titusville. You can be anywhere within a convenient drive. You can be anywhere in the county if you'd like. We never, ever have enough poll workers, and I know we've talked about that before. It's tough to ask somebody to do that. It can be a 13 at minimum, but it's normally about a 15-hour day. And for the folks out here in the eastern part of the county, when you have to drive your results into Meadville at 9:30 at night, it's a long day. But it's incredibly rewarding. I actually was the judge of elections in a Titusville precinct about 8 years ago.
Wow.
It was a municipal year. They were really scraping the bottom of the barrel on this one. I was still a county auditor. And they said, we need a judge of elections in Titusville 4, which doesn't even exist anymore. It was over at the Billy Brown building. And so I'm I came out the night before and stayed. I got a hotel room because I said I'd have to get up I'm from Linesville. I'd have to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning to drive across Crawford County, hit 7 deer on the way, make camp somewhere around Townville, and then get here. And it was great.
By horse, by the way.
By horse. It was myself, Tug Roy, if you recall Tug. Yeah. He was there with me. And we had a third fella from Meadville. We were all Western and Central County guys. Wow. They plopped us out here. We had a great time. It was a lot of fun. You learned a lot. You got to kind of interact with people a little bit. It's incredibly rewarding. You get to see everyone in your community, and it can be a good day. You have to manage a polling place. There might be feelings can bubble up from time to time, depending on the year and the nature of that election. But cooler heads often prevail, and having somebody in that room that's local, that knows the dynamic, is always helpful in those situations. So,
it's funny. I was just going to ask you what your thought on the temperature here in Crawford County. Is it still respectful? Where that's my neighbor. We might not agree on politics, or is it?
Right now, we're okay. It varies widely. Last year was a totally different animal. It was a different animal the year before. This year, it's not so bad. I mean, we have one contested county race, the race for county treasurer. Christine Kresiak is retiring, and there are 2 individuals vying to succeed her. School board races. Not so much. I don't believe Titusville's is contested. Pencrest's is. Pencrest's is. Crawford Central's is. I think the Corey School District may have one contest. There are some of those. The city council race here in Titusville was, to my knowledge, not contested. So it's kind of quiet. There is a contested MDJ race in Titusville that I think will be kind of the banner race out in this section of the county, and we're watching that with great interest. I mean, those are always kind of exciting, but from what we've been hearing, things have been respectful, and it's been a kind of an election that you and I might remember from days gone by. Instead of politics was not your entire identity. It was a component of who you were, but we got to start seeing people as human beings again, and that just lowers the temperature. And at the end of the day, you get better officials for it. They're not as mercuric. They're a little more willing to compromise. They're open to consensus, and
it's almost a lost art anymore, where it's like, hey, good job for running, good job for me running, but we just have 2 different ideas on things. That's it. Mm-hmm. You have one thought, I have another.
Absolutely. I always use our board as a very good example. I mean, the way commissioner boards are built in Pennsylvania is there's 2 of one and 1 of the other as far as party. So I'm the minority Democrat, and Scott and Eric are both Republicans. And I think there are larger, high-headed ideas philosophically that we would disagree on, but when it comes down to funding human services and that sort of thing, we're pretty well lockstep. There may be matters of administration that we may vehemently disagree on, but first off, we never let that spill into public, and if it does, it's always done so with respect and brotherhood. Yeah. That's really important. We kind of have to lead by example in that. It sets the tone for the county as a whole, the county government as a whole, and we want to maintain that. It becomes too easy to revert to base animal instincts and get tribal with that sort of thing. And
but for some people, that they're surprised by that, and they're almost wanting you to not be that.
Yeah.
On both sides,
Absolutely. Yeah. Go in there and fight those guys. It's like, why? They're not wrong about everything.
But do you agree with this? Well, yes, but
they're not wrong about everything. I would say they're right at least 80% of the time.
Oh, there we go. Now this is getting interesting. No, but I think that's why. I don't know. The last several election cycles, I think the county's going, hey, you guys are doing a good job.
Absolutely. Well, thank you. So just as a general reminder, we let folks know that the last day to apply for an absentee or mail-in ballot is October 28th. If you haven't done so already, you can do so online. You can call our office, and we'll be happy to help. You can stop in and see us. You can actually apply for the mail-in or absentee at the counter. Give us a few minutes. We'll hand you the ballot. You can vote it right there and mail it right over the counter back to us. So it's not early voting. Pennsylvania doesn't have that statutorily, but this is kind of the workaround for it if you want to put it in those terms.
And if you want to work And again, it's needed. You said Titusville, but I'm sure Meadville and other locations.
We don't turn down help.
Okay,
yes, absolutely. Just go on our website, crawfordcountypa.net, or give Voter Services a call. Also, we're at, you can find our phone number online. I don't have it right off the top of my head, I'm sorry to say. And we'll be happy to help. You can call the Commissioner's office at 333-7400, and we'll get you where you need to be. But, if you're even vaguely interested and you just want to know more information, please give us a call, and we won't try to talk you into it. We'll at least just give you the information, but it's always desperately needed.
And I think people would be surprised. We talk about this a lot, but the maintenance on the machines themselves, it's not just, hey, you dust them off the night before. There's a lot of work that goes on.
Nope. They're brought out 4 times a year and plugged in, and there's maintenance, there's testing. So we're in a couple weeks we'll be going into something called LNA, which is logic and accuracy, which means that every machine that we use is plugged in, and we run test ballots on them. And the individuals doing that are, again, it's your board of elections, it's the staff of the county voter services, and some of our IT folks come out and help us with it. And it's a public process. It's open. There's a storage facility out in Sagertown where our machines are kept. It's open to the public. You're welcome to come in and watch. It's boring and it's a lot of physical labor. These machines are quite heavy. We're schlepping them around all day, setting them up. We plug them in. We vote test patterns and all that to make sure that everything is reading properly. We diagnose any issues that there may be before they go out to the field. So every machine is handled and vetted before it gets out to the voting public.
And I think that's one of the things that I know Eric's talked about it. Christopher Soft talked about it. Years ago when it was is there fraud? Is there blah blah? Like, you take that personally because
you do.
You're local and you're the ones that are testing these and making sure they're
we would
working.
have to be complicit with it. We would have to be the perpetrators of it, and
All right, so just keep all those dates in mind, and all the stuff's on the website, so it's everything's laid out, and people can get information. Boy, a busy time of year for you.
Absolutely.
You looking forward to wrapping things up for this year? Hey, it went fast for you, right? Like, this has been one of the fastest years.
It and they just keep going by faster. As we were talking about earlier before the cameras rolled, the thinning hair. I think in the past 2 years, and I have a countdown on my phone how long it is until the end of this first term, and it's like I think I've aged about 3 terms within the last year and a half, but all the right ways, I guess. It's the wrinkles under the eyes, and it's a little slower to get out of bed in the morning, but. But it's exciting. It's rewarding work, especially on the election side. And in years like this, local elections are so absolutely critical. I saw a T-shirt once that said, "Just remember how important local elections are. The mayor in Jaws 2 is the same mayor from the first one." And so it's like it really is important. There's such a huge impact on your day-to-day life, so we can't stress folks enough. Go out and vote on your local election years. But we appreciate it.
Crawford County Commissioner, Mr. Christopher Seeley, joining us. Good to see you.
It's always a pleasure, Luke. Thank you.
All the best.